Hi people, my name is Sergeant Debbie Davis and I'm a military whistleblower, and some people already know my story, but a lot of people do not know my story. And I've never done a YouTube video, so I wanted to do a YouTube video tonight. It's Sunday, March 5th, and I'm going to tell my story of what happened to me because it seems to be relating to certain things that are happening on the news right now, and I want to convey what happened to me, so people can understand, the seriousness of what's also happening right now too. I served in the Army National Guard for 16 years. Okay, and I was AGR, which is Active Guard Reserve, at the Army National Guard in Arizona National Guard. Okay, and that's at the Papago Military Base in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, and when I was working there, I worked there in 2010, 2011, but I worked there for a total of 6 years. But I was AGR 2010, 2011, and I accidentally pretty much became aware of these, it seemed like obvious fraud or embezzlement happening, crimes happening right under our noses when we were working there. And it became such an uncomfortable, scary situation that I felt obligated to report it. Okay, so I reported to Governor Jan Brewer's office, military liaison person. Okay, this is public document, okay, and I reported this in 2011. Okay, April of 2011, to Thomas Adkins, and it's a military liaison, and then it went from there to the Arizona Auditor General, and so, what I said is there seems to be some kind of fraud or embezzlement happening here, and when they did the audit at the Arizona Auditor General, they ended up finding $2.7 million missing. Okay, so you can look up this article right here. They ended up finding $2.7 million missing. Okay, you can look up Arizona Guard embezzlement. Okay, this was being embezzled from an emergency relief fund. Okay, each state has one in the National Guard. Each state has something called an emergency relief fund that's is supposed to be set aside for emergency situations for families, soldiers and their families. Okay, and obviously they're much needed funds. Families, veterans, there was all that VA scandal that happened in Phoenix. Maybe they could have used some of this money too. This money was supposed to be set aside for very needed things, and there was never any money there because it was being embezzled from illegally. Okay, and so I did my best to report it, and that's exactly what they found. Here's me. Okay, that's when I was in uniform there. Okay, and then I, obviously I felt obligated to report it because I didn't want to be held liable. So I'm sure you can understand the situation that I was in. If crimes are happening, you could be held liable if you don't report it. Okay, but what nobody knows is the story about what happened to me afterwards. Okay, and this is what I want to tell tonight, is that right after this, I was immediately fired and non-recommended for promotion and barred from reenlistment. And this is part I feel that I want people to know right now, because I was barred from reenlistment, and what happened is I was pushed into a room and interrogated. Okay, and I felt they were interrogating me, and it almost felt like they were trying to entrap me into saying something. And when I saw the news today, the last couple days, and I saw Senator Al Franken questioning Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, about, what was your involvement with Russia, it was almost like he was trying to entrap him into saying something. Okay, to me that felt wrong. That felt like, you know, you're actually trying to put this person in a bad situation on purpose, because that's what they did to me. Okay, and I was so freaked out that I ran out of this room. Uh, they they barred me from reenlistment when I was in there. They counseled me for a bar from reenlistment, and for no reason. And I still, to this day, am trying to fight this. And I haven't been able to finish out my last 20 years. Obviously, I did 16 years, so I can't get my 20 in until I get 4 more years, obviously, because I'm barred from reenlistment. Okay, and you can't just bar somebody from reenlistment. People that are in the military, you should know, you can't. You have to have a significant amount of Article 15 or something very significant to do some kind of bar from reenlistment. I didn't have any of that on my record. Okay, so what they did to me was illegal, and plus on top of it, they didn't offer me a legal counsel so I could try to fight it or appeal it in any way. And even if they did, though, I don't, I wouldn't have trusted the JAG on that base. But but anyway, I did try to report this to, I was so freaked out that I ran out of the room, and this was in Florence, Arizona. There's another base there. And I reported it to the local Florence, Arizona police. And they did end up coming out. And then they said they couldn't do anything because they have no jurisdiction on a military base. Okay, so they couldn't do anything. I said I literally got pushed into a room and interrogated, and then, I'm really actually afraid for my life right now. And the other thing that's strange about that base is that there's hardly any MPs around. And there's no CID. On an active duty base, you have something called a criminal investigation division that you would report crimes to. There's nothing like that on this National Guard base, and it's a huge National Guard base. People that are out there, that work out there, you know how big it is. I mean, I think it's a total of 8,000 between the Air Guard and the Army Guard and all the different bases in that area in Phoenix, in Arizona. It's a huge. And they don't have any kind of CID, which everybody that I've told the story to thinks is very strange, because you need to have somewhere you can report crimes to. So so at this point, I'm reading this because I want to make sure I get the whole story here. At this point, I was fired from my regular job, okay, when I was reporting to every day that I was actually working there full time. But I still had to go to monthly drills. I still had to report to monthly training, because I was still in the National Guard. So then I tried to report to monthly drills the next drill, and I was just targeted like you couldn't believe. Like I was purposely told to go somewhere, wrong information. I was purposely told information to make me look bad in front of everybody else. Like I have this text, this is from my phone, where I said, hey, why did you tell me to go over here? Oh, it came down from the cock. I'm not sure. This is one of my staff sergeant telling me to report somewhere that didn't end up being the correct information, and then they tried to say I was AWOL for not reporting to the correct place and things like that. This is the kind of thing that was happening to me. I couldn't even go to drill. It was frightening. Okay. It got so bad that I was literally afraid for my life to even go to drill. So I literally went in and I talked to a psychiatrist at the VA, and I got an excused from drill. Okay, some people think I moved out of state, and I was still there for a while. I just wasn't attending drill because I was excused, because I was literally afraid for my life. Okay, that's not normal. Okay, so I was excused until my enlistment ended. I didn't report to drills there, and then I eventually ended up completely moving out of state. But at this point, I was still there, and I continued receiving threats, even though I wasn't even attending drill anymore. I started receiving threats on my phone and on my text message. Okay, and here's some of the printouts from my phone. They tried to say, you won't see it coming. Yeah, they're going to take you down. Okay, you know, this is really serious things that are happening to me, that happened to me on that base. Okay, and I've been really scared to tell this story for a long time, but this is what happened to me. And I, you know, I tried reporting this to many, many people, okay, and you know, all of these serious things that happened to me. And these are public documents and different things. Some of them, you know, this is Congressman David Schweigert's office. I tried to report it to. They didn't do anything. He's an Arizona congressman. You know, this is the National Guard Bureau. I tried reporting this to. I said, hey, help me, please. This is the National Guard IG. Okay. You know, these are just, and of course, Senator McCain. And he didn't do anything to help me. Okay. Senator McCain knows this story, and he doesn't do anything to help me or anybody else that has gone through anything at that base. And there's a lot of other things that happened on that base that are very, very. I've talked to at least 3 or 4 other whistleblowers. You know, one of them was in the recruiting area. One of them was at the Air Guard. Okay, there's a lot of serious things happening on that base. Okay, and so. And then, so here's my last, you know, letter that I got from the DOD, IG, Department of Defense IG, saying, you know, we're still looking into your inquiry. Okay, here we are 5 years later, okay, and I still haven't gotten a response back from the DOD, okay? Okay, then after that, you know, I started having very strange things, you know, the text messages, and other strange things happened on my phone. Okay, like it seemed like my phone was tapped. Okay, I've never had my phone tapped before, but I started having echoes and clicking noises, and, you know, very obvious things to seem like somebody was on my phone. Okay, so at the time I was still living there, and I brought my phone in to the Scottsdale Spy Store, okay, and there's a Spy Store in Scottsdale, and they did confirm to me that it seemed as if my phone was tapped, okay, and they said yes, and the guy was a young guy, and he said, yeah, the Arizona National Guard is in here, the store, all the time to get spy type stuff, okay, and I'm guessing he probably wasn't supposed to tell me that, but he did tell me that, okay, and so the question now is, you know, okay, so who and why is somebody given permission to tap an innocent whistleblower's phone? Okay, and apparently this is the kind of thing that's happening all the way up to DC, Trump's administration and everything too. You know, I was already interrogated. They already know what I reported. The colonel was already indicted, and my phone was still being tapped for some reason. Okay, this is illegal, people. This is illegal, and this is a legal activity that's happening within our government, okay? You know, you're supposed to have a warrant or probable cause to tap somebody's phone, okay? And so, you know, and so here I am, like I said, 5 years later, waiting for the Department of Defense to get back to me and look into this. You know, I don't know how much more obvious it has to be that I was wrongfully retaliated here or reprised against. You know, I was supposed to be protected under the Military Whistleblower Protection Act. Okay, but apparently under the Obama administration, that act didn't protect anybody. I've talked to other whistleblowers, and there was horrible things under this administration that happened to anybody that tried to do the right thing in any way, okay? You know, people you know, don't understand the reason why I wanted to say this video is because it's been very, very difficult under this last administration to be in the military. A very scary situation, and very awful. Okay, and I'm sure other soldiers agree with me, and if you agree with me, email me. You know, my email is mwtech2008 and you know what I want people to know, you know, including Hollywood and all these people that are, you know, against this change and this new administration. I mean, you know, people don't understand. They don't have any idea how much the military has been suffering under this last administration. People in Hollywood or any of these other people. I mean, we have been through living hell with this last administration. I mean, constant cover-ups, and you have to wait years to get anything done, and it's just lie after lie after lie. And you know, that's one of the reasons why I feel like I have to tell this story. And you know, if you have a military story and you're a whistleblower, feel free to email me, you know, because I want to hear your story. I couldn't get any news stations to do this story, okay? And that's the other thing I want to tell people is that I tried contacting all kinds, probably at least 10 different media stations. You know, I'm on the phone, I'm sending emails, I'm sending letters, okay? And, you know, this is a big story. There was $2.7 million embezzled from a fund. You know, it's one of the hugest National Guard whistleblower stories. And I couldn't get anybody to do my story. And I didn't want to just do my story because of me and what I was suffering. It was also, I wanted people to know, to warn other people about what was happening at that base, okay? And this is what we mean. This is what, when you say fake news or something, this is why people are saying that is that it seems like the media is picking and choosing what they want to put out, the information they want to put out to people, and maybe they're not doing the entire story, or maybe they're not doing other stories that are important, you know, that they just don't want people to hear. They obviously didn't want people to hear my story, so nobody would do my story. So I'm doing a YouTube video. Okay, so you know, there's other very serious stories that were never reported, other really serious things going on in the military that were never reported on. Nobody wanted to touch military stories, okay? So with that, I guess I'm going to end for now, but I probably will be posting more videos. This is just a portion of my story, but I feel free to email me, like I said, and here's my email address again, okay? And so I hope this helped other people, and I want people to know that, you know, there's other people suffering that are in the military, and, you know, we should be talking amongst each other. So thank you for listening, and God bless. Bye.